Hey guys. Um oh gosh, more crying. So I just want to share that my relationship with my ex, he would often disappear for like 2-3 days, and I felt severely neglected and ignored, and I did not know how to express that I felt neglected and ignored. And it was like eating me inside. I could have persistently called or texted my ex, but I didn't at the time when I was in the relationship with him. But I kind of just allowed him to take his space. Like, he needed space, right? So I gave him the space, but then I felt ignored. I felt neglected. And it was eating me up inside. And now I realize, like, you have to speak up for yourself. Like, you can't just, like, if you miss someone, if you're not getting what you need from that relationship, you need to speak up. And I would feel really neglected and ignored in that relationship, but I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want to push him away with my need for emotional closeness. And so within a year in or so, I was in Brazil and I ended up cheating on my ex. And you guys all know that I'm waiting till marriage. But I did other things with a guy that I met in Brazil. And I realized that I have met guys in the past that basically, like, they are so emotionally disconnected and unavailable that when I have felt romantic towards them or whatever and I wasn't getting what I needed, I kind of just moved on instead of addressing the fact that I felt neglected and ignored. And I realized that a lot of us in relationships, in romantic relationships, we don't voice how we actually feel. We're scared to be vulnerable. We're scared to say that, hey, I miss you and I feel ignored. I miss you and I feel like you don't care about me. Or, hey, like, why have you been silent to me for days? Why do you need that much space from me? Whatever it is, like, knowing that it's okay to voice that need, to speak up for what you need, because that's how I ended up cheating in my relationships, because I wasn't getting what I needed emotionally. I didn't feel that they actually cared about me, especially they didn't show it. Maybe, like, they really did care about me and they just didn't say it. But I often felt like someone recently told me that he thinks about me a lot, and I was like, okay, well, why don't you tell me that? Like, how are people supposed to know your heart if you don't tell them how you feel? And, like, now I realize that, hey, look, if I'm feeling a certain type of way, it's okay to express it, and don't be scared of being too much. And you are not too much or too little. Like, you're just enough. And, like, if someone thinks that you're too much, like, they don't deserve you. If they think that, because sometimes people want to minimize your needs. People think that your needs are overwhelming, when in fact, no, you deserve exactly what you deserve. If you need emotional connection, you get to have that. And if you ask for it and they think it's too much, then find somebody who can give you that kind of emotional support, because that you're not too much. You deserve to be loved and you deserve to have emotional connection. And if that person thinks your emotions are too much, or you're crazy for having emotions even, or that you crying is too much, then find someone who's able to embrace all of who you are. And I feel like in the past, like, someone was like talking about compromise, right? It's like in a relationship, like a lot of us, we're so scared to address our needs emotionally that we are not feeling loved in our relationships. We're like, oh, I'm just gonna pretend that I don't feel ignored. I'm gonna, like, if they don't reply, then I won't reply. But deep down, it's like, no, you feel ignored. Like, hey, can you please call me? Because I feel like you don't care about me. And that can seem like a weak statement, but that's how you feel. So, like, say it. And because we're not saying how we actually feel, because we want to put up a front, we want to pretend that we're okay when we're not. We're really not. And, yeah. If people think that I'm too much for addressing my emotional needs, then they have a problem with emotional intimacy. Like, I feel like a lot of people in this world we're so, like, immune. We are so, like, independent and so, like, pretending to be okay that, like, we are not getting what we need in our relationships, and it's just a full bogus, right? It's like being just, like, completely bogus about it's like pretending to be lovey-dovey couples when in fact, like, you're actually not getting what you need, and you shouldn't feel alone in a relationship. I felt alone. I felt alone in my relationship because I felt like I didn't have that emotional connection or intimacy with my ex. Like, he wouldn't even tell me how he felt. Like, it got to a point where he had panic attacks and I would have to take him to the hospital. You know, it's like what kind of relationship is that if like your boyfriend can't even tell you how he feels, you know? Like, and I just feel like for me too, like, it's like if I experience like emotional intimacy even with a friend, right, or like someone I like, and the next day it's just like, okay, wait a minute, like, that conversation does not continue. We live in a world where it's like, okay, well, that's too much closeness for one day or a week, right? And then suddenly it's like you just stop talking, and I realize, like, it's okay to, like, continue that conversation in vulnerability or being vulnerable, but sometimes we're so used to, like, shutting off our hearts that, like, oh no, like, I feel closeness with someone, maybe that won't last, so I'm just gonna pretend that, like, that didn't even happen, you know? And it's like almost like when you do ask for more intimacy and emotional closeness with that person, it's like, oh, you're being too much. And I realized, like, because I didn't really have a lot of emotional intimacy with my parents, yeah, but thank you for the comment. The thing is, you actually learn emotional intimacy when you interact with people, not by being by yourself. Like, a lot of things you don't learn on your own. You learn through relationship with people. So, like, addressing your needs, like you don't. It's like, what I'm saying is, like, in a relationship, when you are dating people or when you're in friendship with people, like, that's when you address your needs. You can't address your needs when you're alone. Yeah, you love yourself and whatever, but, like, it's only through relationships with people that you see like, okay, wait a minute, I'm not getting what I need emotionally, like, or I feel ignored, like, because maybe we experienced some intimate moments the day before, and suddenly, like, they don't call or text the next day. And so if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling neglected or ignored, or feel like, you know what, I need to address, like it's like I felt closeness and I want to, like, just pick up where we left off the day before and just say, like, hey, I really appreciate, like, those intimate moments and the things that we talked about, and I'm really glad I met you, just to address that. And I feel like in our modern day in society, it's like, if you experience some kind of intimacy with someone and closeness with someone, it's almost too much to ask for to even, like, call them again. Because we're so used to just, like, ghosting, we're so used to flaking, we're so used to disappearing from someone's life that, like picking up where we left off, like, immediately feels like too much. But I feel like it's not too much. Like, when you get to a point in your life where you deeply desire intimacy with someone, you deeply desire closeness with people, it's not too much to ask for when you want to just touch base and say, like, hey, like, I care about you, you know? But we see that as neediness. We see that as being too much. We see that as, like, oh, it's bad to show that you actually care, or it's bad to want to be connected. And it's like, why? Is it a sign of weakness or something? Like, no, I want to feel like people actually care about me. And if I don't feel that, I will tell them, hey, I feel like you're ignoring me. I had to tell my mom the other day, look, you can't just keep ignoring your children. Like, I'm your child, and I feel like an orphan right now. Like, you know. And in the past, I would let her give me the silent treatment. Like, she would not talk to me for days. And that's a form of punishment that you don't deserve. So, yeah, I think that the closer that I get to marriage, to understanding what love is, the more I'm realizing, like, don't allow anyone to suffocate your needs or your voice. Don't let anyone tell you that you're too much. Don't let people say that, oh, no, you're too clingy, you're too needy. Or don't let people say that, because I asked for too little in all of my relationships and friendships. I was the one that everyone came to vent, to talk to, and do you feel let me finish talking. So basically, I was the one that everyone came to talk to, and I wouldn't talk about how I felt. So the reason I'm talking about this is because I want to address the fact that, so this year has been a really crazy, dramatic, very heartfelt year where God has been preparing me for marriage. There's been someone that I've confided in over and over and over again about my dating stories, dating issues, whatever. And he's kind of always been there for me. But the thing is, like, he has feelings for me, and I've had feelings for him too, but I know, like, there's no future. So the thing is, like, what I was crying about was, like, why is this person so patient with me? Like, how can he be so loving with me when, like, I am literally talking about other people that I've gone on dates with? Like, how can he not be jealous? Like, and as we were just talking about it, I realized that, like, he's showing me the form of love and type of love that I've never had. Because the thing is, my mom would constantly judge me for things and blame me for things. And like, to have that kind of love that doesn't walk away is really rare in my life. I'm so used to people just walking away from me, just giving up, just saying that, oh, you're too much, I can't deal with you. Hey, I can't deal with your shit anymore. Whatever, And this person has really been patient and like been someone that I confided in. But I don't see a future with them, with this person. But as I was talking through things, I realized, like, man, like, recently people have given up and people have walked away because they felt hurt or they felt rejected. And I couldn't keep them as friends, though I wanted to. But I realized there are people who will stay even when times get tough, even when things are rocky, And it's like, I don't really understand that. Like, why anyone would stay when they don't necessarily... I don't know, it's just interesting, I guess. Like, I'm definitely learning something really deep. Yeah, and I guess, like, I'm just a very jealous person, so I'm, like, surprised that someone would, like, stay friends with me, even though they may have feelings for me. Or, I don't know, I'm just used to people giving up and walking away and being like, I can't be friends with you. I don't know. Yeah, it's really interesting. So the gist of this video is, like, if you have a need and if you feel ignored or you feel like you're not getting what you want from someone, like, you should address it and tell them. Like, you shouldn't just silence yourself. Because I did that in my past relationships, and I basically ended up seeking comfort and confiding in other people. So now I'm starting to realize, like, I need to address how I feel immediately in my relationship instead of, waiting till later or, being scared to express myself. I feel like that's the gist of it. Like, the fear of being too much, the fear of, saying what's on my mind, the fear of being clingy or needy. Like, I don't know, I think as humans we tend to ignore that. Oh, thank you. Let me screenshot these. I like your comments. Yeah, so I mean, I try to be vulnerable because I know, like, other people don't talk about this stuff, and I guess I wanted to talk about this stuff before I find my soulmate and get married, because I want to look back on it and be like, look, it wasn't an easy journey. Because I think that a lot of times I see, like, people get married or... Okay, cool, I will follow you. I feel like a lot of people, like, they just get married and it's like this happy ending, but they never talk about the process of dating and the process of healing from past traumas or childhood wounds. And I just felt like I'm the only one that's, like, messed up in some ways, and, like, I'm the only one who has to go through these really hard lessons. And I wish, like, people were just more transparent about it and more honest about their journey of, preparation for marriage, because it just seems like everyone else has it so easy. Like, oh yeah, I met my husband on eHarmony and then we got married in like 2 months, and it's like, okay, so, like, what were some of the things that you actually went through? What are some of the hardships that you went through? Like, people don't like to talk about that on social media. And it's just like, here's a pretty picture of our family. And it's just like, okay, no, I want to know the nitty gritty. And I want to know, like, the hard things that you've been through. So Anyways. So I'm just writing a little comment. Yeah, I will follow you. Feel free to message me if you want to talk. Anyways, God bless you. Bye.